Dow finished negative. All the major indices were negative yesterday. But here's the interesting part. Now, you have heard me talk for an extended period of time about the volume or the lack of volume in the markets. Well, for the last 2 months anyway, maybe not so much January, but February and March for sure. Yesterday was the second lowest volume of the quarter or of the year so far, was virtually very, very little volume to even speak of. So not a lot of conviction on this negative day, not a lot of activity, not a lot of movement. I think what we're going to do is we're going to continue to see for the rest of the week. I know I said this yesterday. I'll probably say it again tomorrow, but we're not going to see a lot of activity in the markets. We've got Friday job numbers coming out. So we've got the Bureau of Labor Statistics putting out their job numbers. Many of you still believe in the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. I have lost much of my confidence, what little I had over the years in the Bureau of Labor Statistic numbers, although I did feel as though I had never had a whole lot of confidence in the way they went about determining their numbers, particularly in the last 10 years. But nevertheless, I didn't feel like it was being misreported, even though I felt like they could have done a better job putting together a more accurate picture of what the job numbers were. Now, I have no confidence at all in the numbers, but nevertheless, the numbers come out Friday, and that's what everybody's waiting for. Is the unemployment rate going up, going down, staying the same? Are private sector jobs going to be over 200,000? So that's what the market is waiting for right now, and that's why we're not going to see really any volume. There's not a lot of conviction. There's more news and more analysts coming out today talking about the idea of the Fed stimulus program. There's going to be more on that. As a matter of fact, I just wrote an op-ed piece for a Christian Newswire that I'll be talking about later in the week and probably get it out in my newsletter at the end of the week, but on that very thing. Also, early this morning, did an interview with a radio station out in Phoenix, Arizona, in reference to the markets and this lack of confidence among institutional hedge fund corporations. Corporations, by the way, filing for incredibly large buybacks of their stock. That continues to go on, and that will continue to drive prices up as they remove shares out of the marketplace. In other words, they are taking shares out. They are tightening the supply. As they tighten the supply, there are fewer shares to buy, and at the very same time, there would appear to be more and more buyers, retail buyers, mom and pop kind of buyers, as they would be called, would be coming in to the market with fewer shares, driving the prices up. But yet, here's the kicker. 86% of the S&P 500 companies this morning report that they are likely to have negative or a more negative earnings for the first quarter of this year. 86%. Does anybody care? Of course not. No one cares. Why would you care? As long as the Fed continues to stay active in the market, we are likely to see positive earnings. Positive market results. And we're likely to continue to see that happen. But when you look at who it is that is buying the stock and what's driving the markets up, particularly when it comes to buybacks of the market, you lose a lot more confidence in all of that. The other thing that I want to mention that did come out this morning were auto sales. The auto sales look very, very good. GM and Ford having very good numbers. Chrysler numbers just came out. Their sales also up 5%. The autos are apparently doing very well. By the way, they have consistently doing well. There is a bit of a trend that auto sales are picking back up again. That's some good news for the economy, certainly. So we're likely to see auto stocks continue to rise. We'll have to watch that. Speaking of auto stocks, I got a number of emails about a particular auto stock, Ford, which is the only auto stock on my list. People talking about taking profits, selling. They bought it. Look, and talking about a short sale. Let me just make this clear because I think I have miscommunicated, or maybe some people don't quite understand this. Every single stock, it doesn't matter what company it is, company it is, and it doesn't matter how good it does in the next 6 months. If it's on my buy list, it means I am looking for you to put new money. If you have new money to go into the market, I'm looking for you to do that for an 8 to 10 year time horizon. I do no, zero, zippo, no, none analytical work. I don't make assumptions, and I don't make any sort of financial analysis based on short selling. I never have, and you can rest assured that I never will. Are there stocks that you bought recently that were on my list that are up considerably? Yes, there are. Should you take some profits? Maybe. And if you take profits, I am not in, unless it's one particular stock that I had on my sell list last 2 weeks. It's not on there now. I assume everybody saw it. But if it was on my sell list, to sell the whole position. And that is primarily due to the fact that since it first was put on my buy list, it's up about 600%. So yes, sell the whole position. It's a great company. It's got nothing to do with that. But that is rare. I generally don't do that. I might put, like I did some over a year ago on my sell list, Chesapeake Energy, which had previous to that been on my buy list because I thought it was going to downturn, there was going to be negative results, and I wanted to minimize the loss, and that's what some people did. Some people didn't listen. But look, nothing I do is based on a short-term time horizon. Nothing. So keep that in mind. It's important that I continue to let you know that. I've got some other news here before we go to calls. 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. California net worth. The net worth of, California, yes, but the net worth of the number 8, the 8th largest economy in the world. No, I didn't say 8th state. The 8th largest economy in the world. There are only 7 countries that have, out of all the countries in the world, there's only 7 that have a larger economy than the state of California. It's unbelievable, isn't it? You think we should be worried about the state of California when it's the 8th largest economy in the world? What kind of impact would that have on the country as it continues to turn negative? Well, a report out yesterday says that California's net worth, the net worth of California, is a negative $127.2 billion.